Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Extreme Racing League here for the season finale. We are here for round number 10 of the championship at the Spielberg circuit, the Red Bull Ring for the Austrian Grand Prix. 4.3 kilometers awaits the drivers here tonight. 36 laps in question as it is not only the season finale but the championship decider. As we look at the championship standings, I'm just going to lower the volume of the game audio 2 seconds. As you can see, Mr. Wouter leads the way by 12 points after Connor unfortunately wasn't able to race last week. Which means it's all in Wouter's hands. It really is, because Connor technically, mathematically, cannot win the championship unless he finishes in the top 4. And of course, if Connor finishes 4th, Wouter needs to not score a point. If Connor finishes 5th, mathematically he can't do it. If Connor does go on to win the race here tonight, Wouter cannot finish on the podium. And that is the situation. Obviously, Flipnam's still in there with an outside chance as well. He has to finish 2nd or 1st with Wouter not scoring any points and being able to outscore Connor by a minimum 4 points. So Flip, even though mathematically in it, it is a bit of a long shot for him. Wouter has it all to do tonight. It is all in his hands. All he needs to do is make sure he finishes inside the podium, which, considering his recent form, a 3rd place in Kota, a 2nd place with the fastest lap at Silverstone, and of course 2nd last time out at Spa-Francorchamps. And that is going to be a interesting dynamic for tonight, because it is 36 laps here at the Red Bull Ring, and it's going to be interesting to see who's going to come out on top. Connor needs to win to put the maximum pressure on Wouter, but all Wouter needs to do is make sure he finishes on the podium, and we shall see if he can do that. Of course, looking at the constructors, last time out the Red Bull team actually won it, and they won it. They didn't really have to do anything. Unfortunately, only one Aston Martin car of Sinful turned up last week, so the Red Bull team constructors champions. But that battle for 2nd between Aston Martin and Mercedes is definitely a tantalising prospect to see who's going to come out on top in that battle. Of course, we've got some more constructors battles. The AlphaTauri and the Ferrari teams very close on points, and then of course you've got Williams and Alpine quite close on points as well. But let's go ahead and let's get into qualifying, as the first man is out on track, and I believe, where is my controller? That's the thing, right? When you're streaming from the PC, you forget where your controller is. But the first man out on track is Vero Ducko, as we have just jumped on board with him now. And as you can see, we are just under 2 minutes into qualifying. Connor on an outlap as well, in behind the onset of the intermediate compounder tyre. So he's obviously going for a bit of a slow lap first time out, and we're going to see what he can do when he goes flying. But for now, we're still on board with Vero Ducko, who's going to take us on a lap of the Red Bull Ring, as he's going to get us underway for the final corner. All about the exit here, as DRS is wide open on the rundown in towards turn number 1. Now, turn number 1, very tricky to get right, because you want to take quite a little bit of inside curb, and you want to avoid going too far onto the outside curb on the exit. And Vero Ducko very cautious through there as you climb up the hill through the left hand kink of turn 2. Now breaking down into turn 3. That's a big old lockup, missing his braking point by about 20 meters there, but he is still going. DRS wide open once again on the rundown in towards turn number 4. A great overtaking opportunity if you get a good run out of turn 3. 3rd gear for Vero Ducko there through turn 4. Now through the kink of turn 5. Now into turn number 6. All about carrying the speed through there as we hit the middle sector split. Now through turn 7 and the right hander of turn 8. This is where momentum really needs to carry you forward on a lap around here as we go through turn 9. Now through the final corner of turn 10. Vero Ducko not really setting himself up through the final corner to get himself the best run, and he's going to cross the line with a 10.1, and that's immediately beaten by Connor on the set of the Inters with a 8.5. So not looking good so far for Vero Ducko as Laupi, middle sector, it is purple, it is a Red Bull ahead of him, and another Red Bull who appears to have lost it. Skid Solo there with a 6.8. I'm expecting pole position to be around about the low 1 minute 5s as Laupi there with a 6.1. Putting himself into provisional pole position by 7/10 so far. Sinful out on track, and he is in the middle sector coming through turn 6 now. Fifth gear is the gear of choice there, and he is purple in the middle sector as he holds it in 5th for 7 and upshifting through 8. Now turn 9, taking a nice amount of inside curb, missing the apex slightly through the final corner of turn 10, but it's the front row for Sinful as it stands. Skid Solo to the line. Looks like he is improving, and he does improve marginally with no ERS, so that bodes well for the Alfa Romeo as Wouter goes on provisional pole with a 1 minute 6.0. So Wouter setting the pace early on. Flipnam Saram, let's see what he can do. Only 3 seconds quicker for the other Red Bull driver. Now Flipnam Saram, as he just loses it on the exit, lighting up the rear tyres, and that is not what you like to see. And what I was going to say about Flip is he does have an outside chance of the championship. All he needs to do is make sure that he finishes either first or second to mathematically be able to overtake Wouter, but also needs to hope that Wouter doesn't score points here tonight, and he needs to outscore Connor by 4 points. It's a difficult task for Flipnam Saram, but it is not impossible. He is still mathematically in it. Energetics now starting his lap. Run down into turn 1, 100 meter board, breaking down 4th gear. Again, quite onto the outside curve on the exit, but he does not light up the rears. DRS wide open as you run up the hill, looking for the 100 meter board once again. Breaking down 3rd gear, get the car rotated, get on the traction, and there we go. Oh, a bit of wheel spin there in 4th gear. DRS wide open as we run down in towards turn number 4, 100 meter once again. As we come downhill, 4th gear, as you can see, he's just drifting a little bit wide, and that gets him out onto the curb, and that does light up the rear. 50 meter board for turn number 6, but through 7 and 8 looks all smooth from Energetics. Now through turn 9, 50 meter board again as we go through the final corner. He is still valid. Energetics to the line, and he joins his teammate on the 2nd row. Womack's in the 2nd Alfa Romeo car, and he wants a good result here, because if I look at the driver standings, Womack's and, well, actually, can Womack still overtake Sinful? I mean, mathematically it is possible, but very unlikely, as is a bit of an uphill task for Womack, but it's what happens when you miss one too many races this season. It becomes difficult to make up places later on in the season. So 100 meter board in towards turn number 1, and we're going to look for the 100 meter board once again for turn number 3. Third gear up, shifting into 4th, trying to get a better traction out of the corner, and he does get good traction. Now we look for the 100 meter board once again. The black box flashing yellow as a car gets out of the way up ahead. And that is the Alpha Tauri. Now 50 meter board, breaking down, 5th gear. As we see when the curb disappears, but there, that's where you want to be braking to get the car turned in. As we go through 7 and 8. Now 50 meter board once again, break down, throw the car in, clip the curb. Now as the curb, as the outside of the curb just changes on the exit, as Womack here goes on provisional pole with a 5.7. That is a fantastic lap from Womack. As I was going to say, through the final corner, we'll go on board with Vero just so I can show you. On the left hand side, when you see the concrete turn to grass, left hand side by here, right? So when the concrete turns to grass, that's where you brake in, that's where you turn in for the final corner. And that is how you get the run through to really maximise your lap time. It looks like Vero Ducko there on the 7.9 needs to improve. Connor up on the front row, we missed that. He is currently on a 5.8, so definitely more time there for Connor. Energetics in the chat saying he's doing good, and that he is. He's on an out lap right now, currently in P5. Sinful, his teammate, to the line, and he's going to cross it. It's going to be a 5.9, a good lap here from Sinful, gets himself ahead of Wouter. Now let's see if Wouter has been listening to the stream and listening to the breakpoints. Let's find out as we go on board with the championship leader. All he has to do is finish on the podium tonight to secure the championship. Already crowned Constructors Champions with Flipnam Zaram. Can he add the driver's title to his repertoire? Oh, just turns in a little bit too early, gets onto that inside curb a bit too much, and that has unsettled him massively. But if he can find time around the rest of the lap, he could potentially make up that 4.5 tenths. As he just gets a little bit deep and a little bit wayward on the exit, and that does not help him whatsoever in trying to get that lap time down. So we'll go on board with Energetics now, who will look to improve his lap time. Doesn't look like Wouter will be improving his lap time. Energetics, he was in the stream earlier. He definitely has a stream open. He's definitely listening to the chat, and he definitely knows where the breaking points are now. Oh, just a little bit too eager on the throttle coming out of 3, and that is him out of the qualifying session. And Wouter does improve on his lap, and honestly, Energetics, hang your head in shame, sir. That is not a good omen for the Aston Martin to his campaign here tonight and trying to get himself prepared for the race. Energetic saying, no, don't stream it. I didn't mean you streaming, I meant you got the stream open so you can hear where the breaking points are, because I have gone through and have spoken about all the breaking points on this track, and that is key information for those unprepared for tonight's race. Vero Ducko through turn 4. Energetic saying he hates turn 3 and is better in F123. That it is, but that's because traction is a lot better in F123. So, I mean, it's one of them ones where you can't really compare this game to 23 because the traction's a lot easier in 23. Vero unable to improve on his time. Ibo 7 attempts down. Flipnam Zaram. Let's see what he can do. Through turn 1. Very smooth, very composed, very on it. As he climbs up the hill to the first sector split, is going to be a 16.2, marginally up on his personal best. Needs to be careful on throttle here, and he is, and he does get the car going in a straight line. No wheel spin for the Red Bull as we go through turn 4. Getting the car rotated, lovely traction down as we look at the 50-meter board. Lovely stuff on Flipnam Zaram. Purple in the middle sector, 5.1 seconds up on his time. Beautiful through 7 and 8. Now into the penultimate corner, 50-meter board, 6th gear, and he is going to go for the final corner, 4th gear, upshifting into 5th, and that is a beautiful line, and that should be provisional pole position for Flipnam Zaram, and it is with a 1 minute 5.5. It's almost like Flipnam Zaram's probably got the stream open as well. Connor, 3 attempts up, coming through the final corner himself. Connor looking to get himself on the front row as he approaches the line. It's a 1 minute 5.3 from the Mercedes man. Just over 3 minutes to go in the session. Of course, this is a very short lap. Will anyone have enough time to get themselves, as Womax improves and goes ahead of Flipnam Zaram, so Flipnam Zaram knocked off the front row. Wouter is getting himself geared up for a lap. This will be his last opportunity. So this needs to be a good lap from Mr. Wouter, the championship leader. He has 12 points advantage over Connor. A podium tonight for Wouter seals the championship. Of course, if Connor finishes first and Wouter finishes 4th, then Connor will take the championship here tonight. So that is the difference. 12 points is the gap. Connor needs a win here to put maximum pressure under Wouter. So it doesn't look like Wouter is as hooked up here tonight as he would have liked. But through the middle sector, let's see if we can improve on his time. Oh, he's 6 times up in the middle sector. This is a big lap from Mr. Wouter. He's going to get himself onto the front row if he can carry us through the final 2 corners. Oh, just stays within the boundaries of the track limits here, but is this going to be pole position? No, it's not. It gets him onto the front row though. So Wouter on the front row. Flipnam Zaram gonna have to peel off into the pits. I think his session's over and done with. Laupy on a lap. Who else on a lap? Sinful. 2 attempts up in the middle sector through the final corner. Can Sinful get himself ahead of anyone here? And no, he doesn't. He loses a lot of time in that final sector. And he spins for good measure, and that is 2 Aston Martins going around about here as Laupy goes sightseeing through the final corner. Absolutely. I'm glad he didn't improve his position, because that would have been a absolute abusing of track limits here from Laupy if he did improve. Ibo invalid. Connor invalid. Wouter, has he improved? Oh, he just can't get it done. And I believe that is the session over and done with. No one is going to be able to improve on their lap times. So it is going to be Connor on the front row with Mr. Wouter. So Connor doing exactly what he needs to do. Wouter doing exactly what he needs to do. Flipnam Zaram. He's thereabouts. And this is going to be interesting because Flip obviously will most likely play the teammate role as compared to probably going for the championship himself. He knows he is so he's a massive outside chance of taking the championship here, Flipnams Aram, that he's going to be a good teammate. He's going to get out the way of Wouter. He's going to make it easy for him. But the question is, will Wouter be able to keep the likes of Woomax behind? Will Flip have a go? Will Laupy? Will Sinful? Energetics? Who knows what will happen? 36 laps of Austria await these 10 drivers here tonight. As we wait for Sinful now to retire in the pit lane, and he will end the session and we can go through it. I'll give you a rundown of qualifying here. So it is Connor taking pole position with a 1 minute 5.3, 3 thousandths of a second ahead of the championship leader, his championship rival, Mr. Wouter. Joining him on the front row. Turn 1 is going to be tasty between these two, I can assure you that. Woomax a 10th and a half off Connor in P3, with Flipnams Aram in P4 on our second row, with Laupy and Sinful joining each other on the third row of the grid. Then the other Aston Martin of Energetics in P7, with Skid Solo in P8, Vero Ducko in P9, and Sir Ibo rounding out the remaining qualifying position in P10. Early advantage going to Connor, a psychological advantage of getting pole position here in qualifying, but the race is a different prospect altogether. And we're going to see who's going to be set up for the race. 36 laps await these drivers around this 4.3 kilometer circuit. And honestly, it's going to be intriguing to see what happens in towards turn number 1. Will Wouter get a good start? Can he get himself ahead of Connor? Can Woomax get himself ahead of any of them? Because he could be an absolute spanner in the works for Wouter or for Connor in this race, and Flipnams Aram will most likely be playing the teammate role instead of going for the championship himself, so he will definitely be trying to hold up Connor at any opportunity. So guys, I want to hear in the chat right now as we go on the formation lap. We'll get the driver standings up one more time. You can see where everyone has qualified, but who is your favourite to take the championship here tonight? Will Wouter be able to see it home? Will Connor be able to overturn him? Can Flipnams Aram pull off a miracle? These are the 3 championship contenders that are mathematically in it. 16 points separating P1 to P3. If Connor wins the race, Wouter needs a podium. If Flipnams Aram wins the race, Wouter needs top 5. That is the mathematics right there. As we look at the tyre compounds chosen by our drivers here tonight, Connor going for a set of the hard compound tyres, Wouter on a set of the mediums, Woomax on a set of the mediums, Flipnams Aram on a set of the mediums, Laupy on a set of the mediums, hard tyres for Sinful, Energetics almost hitting the back of his teammate there on a set of the mediums, Skid Solo on hards, Vero Ducko on the mediums, and Ibo opting for a set of the Red Wool soft compound tyres. So in the chat right now, I want to see some predictions. Will it be Connor? Will it be Wouter? Will it be Flipnams Aram? Who is going to be taking the Drivers' Championship here tonight? Who's going to be winning this race? Who's going to be on the podium? Get your predictions now in the chat as these guys form up on the grid. And here we go now to those 5 red lights. Lights are out and we are underway for the season finale. Looks like a very good start there from Wouter, and Flip Nams around. Connor getting absolutely swamped at the start, and he loses out to both Red Bull drivers, but he's got a fantastic switchback on Flip Nams around and a fantastic run on Mr. Wouter as they fly up the hill side by side, wheel to wheel, the championship protagonists. 1, 2 and 3 in this race, as we got a bit of a lag situation going on there, and that is not what we like to see early on. But Connor's going to have to tuck in behind Wouter. Obviously, Wouter on those medium compound tyres, and Flip Nams around already making life difficult for Connor, squeezing him all the way to the edge of the track. But Connor able to hold on. He got the inside line for the next corner, but runs in a bit too deep, allowing Flip Nams around to get a switchback, and he'll at the inside now for the following corner. Connor around the outside, but to turn to the inside. Is he going to be able to get this done? Oh, they're still close, but Flip Nams around gets himself ahead of Connor. And now the Red Bull teammate factor will commence, as Flip Nams around can hold up Connor, as the timetables have gone all funny for me, and that is not what we like to see early on. But Connor needs to get himself back ahead of Flip Nams around. He cannot be behind him. Womack's in the background under pressure from Energetic. Sinful dropping off a little bit behind, but Loudby down the inside of Sinful, as Energetic's on Womack's as well on the exit. The side by side 2x2 like Noah's Ark. Loudby gets ahead of Sinful. Energetics gets ahead of Womack's, and Energetics looks to be absolutely flying. Sinful down the inside of Skid Solo down the inside of Sinful, and up in the P7 goes the Alfa Romeo. Still waiting for these the timing tower to come back to us, and we can actually see the gap between these drivers, as it looks like Wouter potentially has a few seconds advantage, as Energetics and Womack's here going off, and Energetics picking up a penalty. Wouter already has a 1 second gap to Flip Nams around, and that is beautiful for the championship leader. Loudby 2.5 seconds behind the top 3. Skid Solo under pressure from Sinful, who's going to have a look down the inside. Skid Solo is going to try and outbrake the Aston Martin, but unable to do so. Vero Ducko and Ibo side by side as Womack's and Energetics into the pits, and it's a set of the hard compound tyres going on for Womack's, and Energetics having to serve that 5 second stop go. This is perfect for Wouter though, able to pull away from his teammate, his rear gunner, holding up Connor in the background. But obviously lap 3 DRS is enabled now, so we should see Connor begin to make a charge on Flip Nams around. As DRS will close Connor up, but it looks like Flip is using a bit of ERS to stay ahead. And this is where the Red Bull teamwork is going to come into play, because does Wouter back off slightly to keep Flip in DRS range? Because Flip will be under pressure from Connor very soon. Connor appears quite comfortable on these hards early on. Sinful closing up to Loudby as well, and he has dropped Skid Solo in his rear. 1.2 seconds the gap between 5th and 6th. Connor now beginning to put a bit of pressure on Flip Nams around by using a bit of ERS. Good run through turn number 1 there, as it looks like Ibo has gone for a bit of an off moment, and now a good exit out of 3, and it could be on for Connor here. And he's using the DRS, he's got the DRS. Will he have a look? Flip lands around, will he defend the inside? No, he won't, but Flip is using a lot of ERS to stay ahead of the Mercedes now. And this is where getting past Flip Namzaram at this moment in the race will prove beneficial for Connor, because with DRS he could potentially close that 3/10 gap on Wouter and get within Wouter's DRS range. So it's crucial for Connor to get past Flip Namzaram as soon as possible. Good exit out of turn 10 as we run down in towards turn number 1. All about the exit here. Connor's had a great exit once again, using a bit of ERS, using his DRS. And there's the flashing red light he wanted to see. He knows now Flip has got nothing left in terms of ERS. And now on the exit, he's using his battery. He's got the DRS, he's got the overspeed, and here comes Connor for P2. He'll have the outside line for turn 4. He's going to send it all the way around the outside because Flip is squeezing him to the edge of the track. Unable to get that position done though. Connor had a little half peek down the inside. That's definitely cost him a little bit of time there. As it looks like Ibo has gone around once again for another spin. Flip Namzaram. Oh, he's lost it. Flip Namzaram has lost it. And now with a bit of DRS, it's going to allow Connor to close up slightly on Wouter. But this just makes things difficult now for Connor. As that definitely would have been a warning for Connor, as he drifts out too far wide on the exit. He does have a little bit more battery, does Connor, than Wouter. Laupy now up into P3. Sinful making a few mistakes, and he's fallen away from Laupy down in P4 now. Flip Namzaram has put on a set of the hard compound tyres. Looks like Wouter has a bit of a pace advantage now, and obviously on those tyres it's easy to see why it is the mediums versus the hards in this early phase. Those hards will come back though, and Connor seems to be quite smooth around this track, so I wouldn't be surprised if in the next couple of laps we start to see that time game begin to equalise and then Connor start to pull back in. Lap 8 of 36 is Mr. Wouter, the championship leader, leading the race ahead of his nearest rival Connor in second place. They're both on different strategies, and it'll be interesting to see how these strategies will coincide with each other later on in this race, as you'd think Connor on mediums later on in the race will be able to come back at Wouter, but it all depends on how much of a gap Wouter can gain now and how much of a gap he can increase on fresh hards once he makes that switch. 1.7 is the gap. Sinful 3 seconds back from Laupy. Skid Solo 2.3, 2.4 seconds back from Sinful. Sinful looks to be closing in on Laupy, and that is an intriguing prospect. Connor also closing in on Wouter. Looks like Wouter may have tailored his setup more towards straight line speed, as Flip Namzaram sets a new fastest lap, showing his pace. As yeah, it definitely looks like Wouter has gone for a lower drag setup here tonight as Flipnam Zaram, the man on a mission, setting the fastest lap of the race on the previous lap, having made that mistake through the penultimate corner just a few laps ago, comes into the pits, chucks on a new set of hard compound tyres, and he's trying to go as long as possible. He is hoping that he can get himself back ahead of Connor to help his teammate out. But Connor absolutely flying now as he's closing up to the back of Wouter, and that is Ibo who's gone around through turn 1. Oh, Connor there clipping too much in the inside curve, and that's cost him a bit of time. You can see how easy it is to lose control of the car around this circuit. As Flipnam Zaram picks up a 3-second time penalty, that is definitely going to come back and haunt him later in the race. And Connor now starting to get a little bit too eager on the throttle, and that is going to be costing him, hemorrhaging him time in this race, as he needs to just calm down, keep his composure, because he'll close up to the back of Wouter. Those tyres will drop off soon. Blue flags for Ibo for lap 10, but I think Wouter may just about get DRS out of it, and he does. So Wouter getting a bit of DRS there, and that has helped him just eke out a gap on Connor there. So the blue flags playing a factor early on as Connor unable to get within that 1 second window. And the run up in towards turn 3, he's going to have to settle for another lap outside of DRS. Lap 11 of 36, Mr. Wouter, the championship leader, leading the way. Connor, his nearest championship rival, 12 points the gap between these two drivers in the championship, 1.2 seconds behind the championship leader. Through the middle sector, you can just see Connor just has a bit more downforce in the middle sector, as it looks like Ibo's gone off again, and Ibo could be causing a safety car pretty soon. With how often he is going off, but now Connor, a good run out of the final corner, still not within that 1 second window. Both of these guys have used all their ERS. It's all about the traction now. It's all about the lines through the corners. Wouter appears to have a better car tuned for straight line speed. Connor appears to have a better setup for the middle sector where the corners come in. Oh, and he's just under the 1 second window now. Sinful and Flipnam Zaram trading positions as Flipnam Zaram overtakes Sinful. Sorry, we did not see that overtake between these two guys, but Sinful could come back at Flipnam Zaram here with DRS, but not quite close enough. Back up towards the front, Connor within 1 second now, and this is crucial as as Mr. Wouter managed to get himself out of it. No, he hasn't. Connor now has DRS to help tow him along. Lap 13 of 36, and now the top two beginning to come closer, as now Connor with DRS will keep closing on Wouter, and he doesn't need to use his ERS now. Meanwhile, Sinful, actually back up towards the front. Connor getting close to the back of Wouter, but not close enough. Sinful pushing his ERS. Got the DRS on Flipnam Zaram, but he's not close enough to go for the overtake. Misses his braking point there and almost goes into the back of Flipnam Zaram, and that's actually going to cost him a bit of time on the exit of turn 3. DRS wide open once again as we run down in towards turn number 4. Womax meanwhile gets past Rio Ducko for P7 relatively easily for the Alfa Romeo. Back up towards the front. Connor with DRS still closing in on Wouter. It's a question of when does the overtake happen. This could be it right now on the run up in towards turn number 3. Connor backs out going for the move there, doesn't want to risk it. DRS, he is going to close in. Wouter will possibly cover the inside line. Connor's actually going to go for the inside line. They're side by side, the championship rivals. And it looks like Connor is going to get this done. Wouter now putting up a huge fight there. He knows too early. And he has more to lose here. So now Connor in the race lead on a set of the hard compound tyres. Wouter on a set of the mediums in P2. But now has DRS to try and come back at Connor as we start lap 15 of 36. The championship rivals going at it on track, as that is a poor line from Wouter, and he's lost himself quite a lot of time through turn 1, and he isn't going to be closing up enough. Energetics with the new fastest lap down there in P9, and it's a 108.1 from the Aston Martin driver. As it currently stands though, Wouter doing everything he needs to take home the Drivers' Championship here tonight. At some point in this race, the pressure will begin to build. The tension will rise, and will either Connor or Wouter, or even Flipnams around, will they be able to handle that pressure? Time will tell, as Connor looks to be pulling away from Wouter, but Wouter's keeping with him in DRS. And this is crucial for Wouter. Stay as close to Connor as possible. Let him tow you along, and then you can go flying once you make the switch onto the hard compound tyres. Big lock up there from Wouter as we go in towards turn 3, but he does close up. Lose a little bit of time on the exit, and now uses a bit of ERS to close back up. Now Connor for this middle sector is better than Wouter, and that appears to be setup related. The grip from those mediums beginning to fall away from Wouter. Nine tenths of a second. Wouter just about holding on to DRS, using a bit of ERS to make sure he stays within that 1 second. 9 tenths is the gap. Connor just getting the lines that he needs right now. Energetics were a new fastest lap, a 108 flat from the Aston Martin. Through turn 3, Wouter gets a decent exit and will be close, but not close enough, as Fitnanza Ram has lost control of his car. And he has fallen down the order, so that takes Fitnams around completely out of the fight for the win. As Connor just holding on to that 9/10 gap ahead of Wouter. Lap 17 of 36, about to start lap 18. We should be seeing Wouter into the pits at any opportunity now, as Vero Ducko coming out of the pits in P8, but a lap down, as there was a yellow flag again from Flipnam Saram. I'm just going to keep an eye on the Red Bull driver, because that is... I don't think I like this. Flipnam Saram into the pits. And he's retired from the session. Flipnam Saram retires from the session, so it is going to be a straight shootout between Connor and Wouter. Wouter losing out time when to go into the pits, but he chooses not to. Runs wide, picks up a warning there, I can assure you of that. 1.4 seconds is the gap between Connor and Wouter. Connor is going to increase that lap time. That is for sure, as Flipnam Saram's retired car comes out of the pit lane. Laupy into the pits, puts on a set of the hard compound tyres. Lap 19 of 36, Connor leads the way, 1.6 seconds the gap. As Ibo out of the way of the leaders. Through the middle sector has Vero Ducko coming up to lap him as well, so Ibo almost a lap down from everyone in this race. Wouter into the pit lane now. Needs to get that car slowed down, make sure he doesn't speed, and now he does. Energetics with a new fastest lap. 107.6 for the Aston Martin driver. Skid Solo going to come out right behind Wouter, so there we go. That is the effort that has been put in by Wouter and Connor so far. They have a pit stop advantage over third place. So really, for Connor to even think about the championship, he does need mistakes from Wouter or a safety car. And that is that Energetics? That is Energetics. He's facing the wrong way. Surely not. Not a safety car. Lap 19. And that is a safety car. Connor's into the pits under safety car conditions. Energetics losing control of his car, absolutely spinning around. And that has now made things very interesting, because Wouter, on a set of those hard compound tyres, could be under pressure. And he's coming back into the pits. Wouter back into the pits, realising that he'll be at a disadvantage. Going to put on a set of fresh medium tyres now. The Red Bull doing what he needs to do. And he'll come back out in P2 on the same compound tyre as Connor now. But this is where things get interesting. Wouter, in between Wouter and Connor, are two lap cars of Ibo and Vero Ducko, who have just come out of the pit lane. So those two cars in between the race leaders plus Wouter, under pressure from the likes of Skid Solo, Sinful and Laupy. And even Womax, who's back in this now. Wouter is going to be under pressure on this restart because remember, Connor has 2 cars in between himself and Wouter. Wouter has no cars in between him and the attacking pack in behind. Skid Solo, Sinful, Laupy. If they can react better than Wouter, they can put Wouter under pressure, and that's when we see mistakes come in and the championship open up. This needs to be a perfect restart from Connor, and it needs to be a perfect restart from Wouter. He cannot afford any mistakes here. Safety car should hopefully be in at the end of this lap, we would hope. If not, we'll have one more lap. Flip Namsaram, the only person in this race so far to DNF. Vero Ducko, Energetics and Ibo, the lapped cars in this race. So Wumax, Laupy, Sinful, Skid Solo, all on the lead lap, with Wouter, who has 2 lap cars in between himself and Connor. And what is going on here? Energetics completely disobeying the rules on the safety car as he gets himself disqualified from the session by ignoring yellow flags, and honestly, rightfully so, I reckon, for that, as Wouter gonna completely roll to a stop through turn 3, and Energetics out of this race. Safety car is in this lap. Wouter has to get past both lap cars and hope that both lap cars react to Connor incredibly well, as Connor will begin to back up the pack. Skid Solo and Sinful in behind. As we wait for Connor to get us underway, will Ibo have the reactions needed, as it looks like Skid Solo absolutely snoozing on the restart, as Wouter is going to get past one of the lap cars immediately. Ibo picking up a 3-second time penalty, and that is Ibo going around once again. Skid Solo, though, absolutely caught napping in his sleeping bag on the restart, and Wouter 1.2 seconds ahead already. And what we have now is both lap cars out of the way of the race leaders. Connor appears to be pulling away from Wouter. Wouter is pulling away from Skid Solo by a rapid pace. So as it currently stands, as long as Wouter doesn't make any mistakes, it's Wouter's championship to lose. Wouter has the pace on the rest of the grid. Lap 25 of 36, it is Connor leading the way Wouter in second place, and with that, Wouter wins the Drivers' Championship. Sinful trying to get past, Laupy trying to get past. Womax has made a move and he's up in the P5. Skid Solo causing absolute carnage here because he's not got the pace to get onto the back of Wouter, and he's causing a bit of a train now as Laupy and Womax sit side by side momentarily. Womax up in the P5. Looks like Wouter maybe trying to close in on Connor. 1.2 the gap. We'll stay on board with this battle. The battle for P3. 4 seconds the gap between Skid Solo and Mr. Wouter. And this is not helpful to Connor. This battle for the final spot on the podium, definitely heating up. Sinful on the back of Skid Solo, using his ERS, using the DRS, going to go for a late lunge down the inside. Daniel Ricciardo-esque, he's just sent it down the inside. Womax is through. Is he going to go for the double overtake? Womax up in the P3. What a double overtake there from Womax. Skid Solo goes from P3 down into P6 as he's overtaken by Laupy. Laupy around the outside. Oh, Sinful. Oh, hits the back of the Aston Martin. Skid Solo hits the back of the Ferrari. The podium battle definitely heated up there, and now we're going to see if Womax has the pace to close up on Wouter. That's what we're going to see now. We're going to see if Womax can lead the pack as Laupy and Sinful side by side through turn 1. Bit of contact between the pair of them, and oh, here comes Skid Solo with DRS. Oh, he's boxed in, and he's going to try and make it 3 wide into turn 3. Down the inside. Oh, contact between the 3 of them. Sinful down into P6, and he will not be too happy with that. Laupy up in the P4. Skid Solo in P5. Sinful down into P6. Womax not really closing in on Wouter, but the time is stabilising, so that kind of shows me that if another safety car was to come out, Womax would be a bit more of a challenge for Wouter. Skid Solo, Laupy and Sinful having an absolute scrap here for P4. Skid Solo definitely looking aggressive. Sinful looking a bit aggressive as well. Vero, Ducko and Ibo out of this race, obviously a lap down. I think Ibo is 2 laps down from the race leader, but as it stands, 28 laps into this race, Connor leading the way, Wouter in second place, Womax in third, Laupy in fourth, Skid Solo in fifth, Sinful in sixth, Vero Ducko in seventh, and Ibo in P8. As we begin lap 29 of 36, the race leader Connor closing 7 points out of the 12 points that he needs to close in. The fastest lap is with Connor as well, so that's 8 points closed in. For Connor to win the championship, he needs Wouter to fall behind Laupy. Sinful down the inside of Skid Solo. Skid going to try and look for a little bit of a cutback, unable to get it done. So Sinful now up in the P5. That's a yellow flag. That is Ibo around. Will that trigger a safety car? Will it be late drama here in this race? No, it won't. It's back to green flag racing. Skid Solo trying his best to keep with Sinful. The battle for P5 between these two definitely heating up. There is still a chance of a safety car. Lap 30 or 36. Connor needs a safety car. He needs Wouter to pick up a penalty and a safety car to come out. As Skid Solo gets through on Sinful, side by side through turn 3. Neither of them have DRS, but here comes Sinful back on Skid Solo down the inside in towards turn 4. Can Skid get the switch back? Gets the better run. It's going to be close enough to have a look down the inside. Oh, he thought about it. And to be fair, Sinful left him the room. Lap 31 of 36. That'll be almost closing in on Womack's final podium position. Skid Solo closing in on Sinful for P5. Oh, Skid tried to late break it and unable to make that work. Laupy now within that 1 second gap, and he is closing in on Womack's here for the final podium position. As it currently stands, Wouter will be taking the Drivers' Championship. But it will have been a fantastic victory from Connor and a fantastic season from the pair of them. For both Connor and Wouter. Connor definitely looks to be the quicker of the two with the amount of ERS that he has still at play. Wouter within DRS actually now of Connor, and he will use that to close in, but he has no ERS to use as Connor has, well, 45% ERS compared to Wouter's 10. Laupy closing in on Womack's for the final podium paying position. Late braking from Laupy, and that is just not close enough to make a move. Skid Solo being dropped by Sinful now. Sinful looks like he's got away from the Alfa Romeo. Connor is running out of time for a late safety car to help him out. He is running out of time here. Lap 33 of 36, the final lap where a safety car is able to happen. Now Connor is praying for the pressure to get the Wouter and mistakes to creep into his game. That is what he's hoping for now, to take home this championship. We know Wouter can take the tyres to the end. There's no issues on that. 18 laps he did on his first set of medium compounded tyres. So no issues from Wouter in being able to take the tyres to the end. Only mistakes can help Connor now. As they begin lap 34. Wouter within that 1 second window. Skid Solo with a 3 second time penalty, and that is not going to help him in his fight for P5. He has now just conceded that. Wouter closes in on Connor. Are we going to get a last lap battle between the two championship rivals here? Laupy closing in on Womax. DRS wide open. Is he going to send it? Womax covers the inside. Laupy's going to try and outbrake and go around the outside, and he's going to get the traction on the outside. But is he going to get the run into the next corner? Not quite, as he almost hits the back of the Alfa Romeo there. The two Italian constructors doing a battle here. Ferrari, Alfa Romeo for the final step on the podium. Laupy, Womax, who is going to be taking the final podium of the season, and also who's going to be taking the final win, as, oh my god, Wouter, a big mistake there from Mr. Wouter again, a little bit too much onto the exit curb, but Connor needs more than that. He needs Wouter to have an absolute nightmare final 2 laps here. Try and take this Drivers' Championship. Wouter just needs to keep doing what he's doing. Hold on to that P2 as Laupy down the inside of Womax. The wheel to wheel. Oh, it's so close between the pair of them. Connor picks up a 3-second time penalty. And that is it. That is it. Barring any mistakes from Wouter, Wouter will take the race win here. As we begin the final lap of the race, Laupy has just overtaken Womax for the final podium position, but Womax will have one more opportunity to come back at him. One more lap to come back. Is he going to be able to take advantage of it? Wouter now, all he has to do is just be cool, calm and collected, and you'll get this done. As, oh, Connor not really going to fight it. He knows he's lost this race, and he's waving to say congratulations to Wouter. He knows it's all over. Wouter now will stay on board with Mr. Wouter through the final sector, because he is going to take home the race win, and he is going to be crowned the Extreme Racing League Drivers' Champion. As he comes through the final corner for the final time, it is Mr. Wouter taking victory in tonight's race and in the Drivers' Championship. Connor will come home in P2 in both the championship and in this race. Laupy will come home in P3 just ahead of Womax. Very close battle for the final step on the podium. Sinful will come home in P5 ahead of Skid Solo comfortably. P6. Vero Ducko will come home in P7, and Sir Ibo will come home in the final finishing position of P8, as he's already hit the checker flag. Vero Ducko now to hit the line, and that will bring an end to the season. And honestly, there was nothing that Connor could do. Wouter just had the pace to always make sure that he was in a position to take home the Drivers' Championship. Connor could not have a sniff. He needed mistakes. He needed safety car shenanigans, and they didn't happen for him. And because of it, Connor pushed the limits of the track one too many times, picks up the 3-second time penalty, and then concedes a position to the Drivers' Champion, Mr. Wouter. And he picks up the race win, the Drivers' Championship, and all that goes with it. He is one half of the Constructors' Champion with Flipnam Zaram, who retired earlier in this race. But that man, Mr. Wouter, is the Season 6 Extreme Racing League Drivers' Champion. So we'll run you through the order one more time. It is Mr. Wouter, the Drivers' Champion, taking a victory here tonight ahead of his nearest championship rival, Connor, who picked up the fastest lap in P2. Laupy comes home in P3, picking up the final podium position for the final race of the season, and he was ran very close by Womax, who comes home in P4. Sinful in P5 after a very scrappy battle with Skid Solo, who comes home in P6. Vero Ducko a lap down, comes home in P7, and then Ibo 3 laps down in P8. And our non-finishers were Flip Namzaram, who retired early in the race, and Energetics under safety car conditions decided that he wanted to overtake the grid and get himself disqualified. And that brings an end to Season 6 and an end to the final race of the season. And hopefully that will be a season to remember, and hopefully we'll be back for more in Season 7. And we'll see if Wouter comes back to defend his title for Season 7. But of course, the following season should be on the brand new F1 23 game. Much easier on traction, so we should be seeing a lot fewer mistakes made by these drivers in terms of the traction. And we should be seeing a lot more battling up and down the grid. But until then, guys, I have been Ivor Bryn Mike. I've been taking you through the action. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe for more Extreme Racing League action. But until next time, good night.